World Mental Health Day 2021 witnessed NIFT Mumbai students gathering together on an e-meet to raise awareness and to mobilize efforts in support of mental health. This was in collaboration with Huesofthemind, a non-profit organization which delivered a workshop on coping with stress and anxiety. Follow this workshop through its recording and let Huesofthemind help you help yourself.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I am Khyati Rishi, the president of Ethics and Social Service Club, which has brought to you this workshop in collaboration with Huesofthemind. Now, Huesofthemind is a non-profit organization which is run by progressive youth whose mission is to have more conversations about mental health and remove the stigma around it. And what better day to do it rather than the World Mental Health Day. So here we are. Their team creates self-help resources that contribute towards making therapy more affordable and accessible to people. Some of their resources include their newsletter called Huesletter, their podcast, which is called Hues Radio, and they've even recently launched their own book, which is called Hues of You, the proceeds of which they're using to raise funds to make therapy more accessible to people. And I couldn't like these guys more. So we plan to organize this workshop, and today we have with us the founder of Huesofthemind, Mansi Gupta, and the director of operations, Pranavi Pendyala. And these two will guide you through this workshop today. Thank you so much, guys, for doing this with us today. No better way to celebrate today, and the floor is all yours.
Hi, Khyati. Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. Both Pranavi and I are really happy to be here, and we hope that this workshop is very enriching for you. We'll try our best to make it very insightful and engaging as well. So without further ado, I think we'd go ahead and present the presentation.
Abhishek, you'll do that, right?
Oh, sure.
Thank you so much for such a warm welcome again. Yes, so this is what we've named our workshop, You Matter. This entire workshop is about you, about taking care of ourselves. And because there have been increasing levels of stress and anxiety amongst all of us, especially during the pandemic, we thought it's really important to address that. And what better day than World Mental Health Day itself. So next slide, please. So this is our favorite question. We would like to ask you, what is the hue of your mind and how are you feeling right now? And just to make it clear, any feeling that you're feeling is completely okay, even if you're super tired, exhausted, maybe enthusiastic about the workshop, everything is okay. So let us know in the chat. How are you feeling? And as we mentioned, Pranavi and I are definitely very excited, as Pranavi just wrote. So let us know, what are you feeling? And thank you so much for joining us on a Sunday evening. Thank you for your responses. So we'll move to the next slide. Next slide, please. Yes, so we just wanted to know, what are your expectations from our session, because we would try our best to deliver the same. And we can see that some of you are curious, so we're really happy about that. Thank you, Sanjana, for joining us, even though you're super tired. We'll make sure it's a good experience. Yes. If you have any more expectations, please feel free to let us know. And we've also noted down some expectations of our own. So can you please press enter or the next? So we just wanted to make sure that you feel comfortable, and please carry a journal with you. We can even pause for some time before the activity, but we would have a lot of journaling activities. Both Pranavi and I will be delivering them. So please carry a journal with you. And this is a safe space, which means that this is a non-judgmental space for all of us. So please respect, when someone else shares, and please feel free to share as well. Sure. Thank you for sharing your expectations. Definitely, we'll be covering stress management, time management, all of that in our session. All right. So, moving ahead, I think one thing that all of us kind of confuse is the difference between stress and anxiety, right? So, Pranavi would like to elaborate on the same.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm really glad to be here today. Before going ahead, I would love to know when was the last time that you felt anxious or stressed? You were like, oh boy, I'm stressed right now. So if you could let us know in a chat box. Before that, just know that this is a safe space and this is a very non-judgmental space. So please feel free to share your views of when did you, Brinda felt few seconds ago, some felt today afternoon, 2 minutes ago, jury time. Oh, is jury time the time when your the entire thing, exams get judged by your professors and everything? Few hours ago. Exams, yes. Okay, great. Last week. Too much assignment whenever grabs this. That definitely, I feel stressed then too. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, assignments, submissions while applying for jobs. Assignments are choking us, definitely. Yes, I'll go ahead and explain, the difference between the stress and anxiety, because more like almost oftentimes we often feel that we are stressed and we are also anxious. So it's better for us to understand what the difference is. So people under stress experience mental and physical symptoms such as irritability, anger, fatigue, muscle pain. Sometimes you feel like you have indigestion and all digestive problems and difficulty sleeping. Whereas anxiety, on the other hand, is defined by the persistent, excessive worries that don't go away even in the absence of the external stressor. To explain this a better, imagine that you're standing on a road and the second you turn around, you see a very big pit bull, the ferocious animal who is very dangerous, and he is also very desperate for flesh and blood, right? In this response, here the pit bull is your stressor. In this, our bodily response is to either fight or flight, which are the two bodily responses to any stressor by a human body. However, let's say that the dog has left without causing you any harm, but you are still excessively worried about it attacking you, not just for a few moments, but few days or weeks or even months together. And this excessive worry hampers your daily functioning so much that you feel the following symptoms I'm saying, that you feel nervous, restless, or tense. You might have some sense of impending, danger, panic, or doom, an increased heart rate, or you might breathe very rapidly, which is also called as hyperventilation. You might sweat and tremble a lot. You might feel weak or tired. You might have, trouble concentrating or thinking about anything in a very normal way. So these are some of the responses of the stressor being very persistent in your life. So I would like to also say, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, I'll just continue yes. Okay, so sometimes, usually stress is not always bad. Stress can be positive at times as well. So for positive stress, we also call it as eustress, which is good for you. It motivates you to do better or improves your efficiency. For example, when you get your date sheet for your exams, you feel pumped up. The next second, you'll be like, yes, let's do this. Let's start preparing from tomorrow. And that is what is a eustress. Negative stress, on the other hand, can cause a lot of wear and tear of your body, and thus, which is very harmful for your body as well. Keeping the same example in mind, because getting your date sheet and knowing your exams are around the corner, you stop eating or you're unable to sleep or digest the food for the matter. This is what a negative stress is. Anyway, I'm sure all of us have experienced some kind of, stress, maybe today or in this week or sometime recently, and are just looking for ways to cope up, right? I felt the stress just entering this workshop today because I wanted to give my best today, but somehow that was a positive stress which motivated me to do better. But well, we have few tips and activities to help you out with the same on how to deal with stress and anxiety. Like most of you have had an expectation on the chat box as well. I'd like Mansi to take over now to explain.
Thank you, Pranavi. And elaborating on that, we'll discuss a lot of ways, of how we can cope with work from home anxiety, especially all the different assignments that we have to do, everything. It really makes us feel stressed. So, one thing that I would, like to begin with is I would like to ask you, do you take your laptop to your bed and work from there? Or do you sit at your desk and work? What do you do? Where do you usually work? All right, great. So we have different responses. Some of us work at the desk, and it's a mix of both for a lot of us. That's great. So next slide, please. So all of us know that since the pandemic began, the line between personal and professional life has been blurred out. And work from home and online classes in the same space can create this illusion that you're always working and it's never ending, or that you're never working and being extremely unproductive. That is why it's very important to set boundaries between personal and work life. And as is illustrated in this diagram, it would be better to just create that space where you can work and focus. And when you're done with that, maybe you can create another space, maybe chill on your bed or in another room, just to relax and feel comfortable. So you can have designated spaces where you work and avoid working on your bed and preferably stick to a desk while working. So next time when you go to your desk, your brain knows it's time for work and you can turn off your work mode when you aren't on your desk. So secondly, I think all of us know this, but still take regular breaks. We need to remind ourselves to regularly take a break because rest is productive as well. So we always tend to log in from classes, from our bed, and a lot of times we don't even pay attention. But sometimes that makes us feel that we've not done anything all day. So sometimes we get so caught up in work that it really builds up, and the stress really hampers our progress and makes us feel exhausted by the end of it all. So, what if we just took a few breaks in the middle of the entire day and set out time to take care of ourselves? So, I would just like to ask you, have you been struggling with time management during the lockdown? At any point? Yes, and the answer for me as well would be yes, because I think it's been really difficult to manage time and motivate yourselves a lot of days. So we have a solution for that, a simple technique, which is in the next slide. So this is known as the Pomodoro Technique, and how this works is that you can basically set a timer for 25 minutes and then take 5-minute breaks. And after four 25-minute sessions, then you can take a longer break. So this helps us be more productive and gives us that time in between to take breaks as well. So we also have a lot of websites that can, provide that. Pranavi has just put it up in the chat also. So you can save that for reference later, and you can try to, adopt this technique whenever you have any assignment that is urgent or anything that you need to do. So now Pranavi will discuss some more activities.
All right. So can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So before going ahead and explaining what this slide actually means, do you find yourself constantly, reading up something about the pandemic or some misfortunate events on a daily basis? And sometimes your favorite celebrities or your favorite actors or actresses have met, with some unfortunate events, and you read about it, and you feel anxious or stressed about it. Do you find yourself constantly reading up such articles or going through such things? Yes. I agree. Scrolling through Instagram is definitely a big part of my day as well. So I can see few yeses, and it's a yes from me for me as well. Because you open your any social media account, the first thing these days you see are the misfortunate events happening around, right? So this is an example of something called as doom scrolling. Seems like it's time, okay, sometimes yes, not I guess, but other browsing sites definitely. Okay, seems like it's time for us to take a step back for our own sanity. It is important to be informed and stay up to date, but meanwhile we should make sure that we don't surround ourselves with negative vibes only. What you consume definitely affects you. Take a note of the nature of the content information consumed by you from Instagram or any other browsing sites. Assigning a specific time to read news and also taking breaks from consuming content is what we should do to avoid information overload. What I personally do is, Instagram has a timer of setting a time to use it for only 30 minutes a day or 1 hour a day. So I keep the timer to only 45 minutes and restrict myself to use it after that, which also helps me to have fun while scrolling through Instagram, but also to keep me in sanity. I also have my break from it. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so as I was talking about the information overload, I remember that when the pandemic everything started, when it was new, I wanted to know the biological symptoms or biological causes of COVID-19, right? And I opened YouTube and I was scrolling through the videos. And the next moment, I was watching a very disturbing content, which made me very anxious about COVID and the deaths and etc. etc. And in these times, I also learned how important it is to acknowledge my feelings, even if they're scary, fear, joy, sadness, anger. It can help us cope in a very healthy way. And guess what? You're not the only person who's freaking out. The news out there is legitimately frightening, and fear is a normal, natural response. You're not alone. We're all in it together. It is okay to feel sad, anxious, lonely, afraid, happy, everything, but acknowledging whatever you're feeling is very important. Your thoughts and feelings are completely valid because it's very natural for everyone, and it is fine to have those thoughts. And don't let somebody else tell that otherwise to you. Embrace all your emotions and you're getting through. Write or type them down, and if you would like, record your voice accepting them, but do not ignore them. What I do is I record myself. I have my own voice notes where I say how I feel, or I talk to my friends, or I talk to my family about how I'm feeling, which definitely helps me cope in a better way. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yes, Katika, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. And what you've said is absolutely true. Every emotion has some value. And I think this meme has become quite popular in the pandemic, like this guy. But there's a very deeper meaning to this thing that we've put here. Usually when we are feeling sad or upset, the first thing that we want is a distraction. And the first distraction all of us get in our minds is Netflix or Hotstar or some kind of, OTT platform where we end up watching our favorite shows or favorite videos where we can distract ourselves from all the feelings that we are feeling right now. Uncertainty can definitely cause fear. Avoiding your fear may seem like a great option, but addressing your fear is what is important. It will help you find a solution and you can eventually get rid of that fear. Jot down all possible solutions and go forward with the one that most suits you. But distracting yourself to another platform is not the right thing to do. Now, Mansi will let us know about the others.
Thank you, Pranavi. And firstly, we all know that it has been very difficult to, stay in touch with all the friends that we had because of the pandemic. It feels like making an effort to call them or plan something together, and we're just exhausted by the end of it. But what we need to understand is that whenever you're bothered or overwhelmed by something, talking to a loved one really, really helps. And it feels like actually unbottling all the pent up feelings or emotions inside you, which ultimately make you feel 1,000 times better. So, we just wanted to remind you that please engage in effective communication with the people around you. And this can actually lessen the stress that you're feeling, it can uplift your mood, and that is why it's especially, important during these difficult times. So, next slide, please. Abhishek, next slide, please. Next slide. Yes. So I would like to ask you, how many of you meditate? Or even not regularly, but maybe once in a while? Any type of meditation, even if it's guided or you practice breathing exercises. Great. Anyone else who's tried it or does it regularly? Okay, Shubhangi, Khyati, Katika. All right, thank you for your responses. So we'll just have a mini meditation session here right in the call. And I wanted to ask you, when you think of the word meditation, what comes to your mind? So, how has your relationship with meditation been? Because a lot of people feel like it doesn't work and it's too difficult, and that's okay. Everybody, needs their own time to work with something, to get acquainted with something. But what do you think when you think of the word meditation? That's great. Silence, calm, peace. I also resonate with these feelings when I think of meditation. Right. So, meditation also has some stigma attached to it, where we sometimes feel that it's something that, older people do or yogis preach. But that's definitely not true. And meditation can help us achieve whatever we want. Even if we want to stay more focused in our assignments in a day, meditation can help us with that. And the other benefits I think we're all familiar with, which includes regulating our emotions or reducing our stress and even improving our sleep and concentration. So now we'll begin with a simple guided meditation, and I would want you to get into a comfortable and relaxed position and just try to let go of your daily stresses. Allow yourself to just be here and now, letting your body just be. Gently close your eyes. You don't have to do anything because our bodies naturally want to be calm and relaxed. Sometimes thinking too much or being tense and being anxious doesn't allow for us to relax. So naturally, we must let go of any need to control the present moment and future outcomes. We feel anxious because we tend to overanalyze what we think will happen today, tomorrow, or next week. So with this meditation session, we will try to be a bit more mindful. Now let's begin. Begin by bringing your attention into your body. You can notice your body seated wherever you're seated, feeling the weight of your body on the chair, on the floor. Take a few deep breaths. As you take a deep breath, bring in more oxygen, rejuvenating the body. And as you exhale, have a sense of relaxing more deeply. You can notice your feet on the floor. Notice the sensations of your feet touching the floor. The weight and pressure, vibration and heat. You can notice your legs against the chair. Pressure, pulsing, heaviness and lightness. Notice your back against the chair. Now bring your attention into your stomach area. If your stomach is tense or tight, let it soften. Take a breath. Notice your hands. Are your hands tense or tight? See if you can allow them to soften. Notice your arms. Feel any sensation in your arms. Let your shoulders be soft. Notice your neck and throat. Let them be soft. Relax. Soften your jaw. Let your face and facial muscles be soft. Notice your whole body present and take one more breath. Be aware of your whole body as best as you can. Take a breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes. So I would just like to ask you, how are you feeling? That's wonderful. Anybody else? What did you guys feel? That's wonderful. I'm glad the session helped. So this is something that you can always take up. There are lots of guided meditations present on the internet, even in our playlists as well. We would love to share them with you. So this can just be a 5-minute break to, make you feel better, to help you take action with a new mindset and without feeling worried or anxious. So, next, we would like to ask you, next slide, please. Yes, Katika, proper posture and breathing techniques. Definitely, they help a lot. So, in your journals, just write the things and people you love the most. Anything. That's great. So, yes, pets definitely make us feel amazing, our family as well. What about everybody else? Art, our garden. Yes, I think we're just imagining all these things, and instantly just the visualization of this makes us feel better. So that's amazing. Thank you for sharing. And the point that we wanted to make was, how long did it take for you to think of yourself? And did you even think of yourself? So, next slide, please. So, this is a quote from a very famous movie, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. And it actually teaches us something very deep. We accept the love we think we deserve. And I think that is what really teaches us to love ourselves and care for ourselves, while we actually love and care for another person. It can definitely be a process. You don't have to get there just today. You can't just love yourself completely in one day. But every step counts. And we wanted to remind you of all the things that you can do every day, the time that you can take out, even if it's 5 minutes a day. So we can spend time alone, and this can actually help reduce the stress that we have. Because when you're by yourself relaxing, it's much easier to slip into a state of quiet meditation, maybe even self-reflection. And we can even, solve the problems that we have by journaling them, by reflecting on them. And once you've decided it's time to start nurturing yourself and your body, be sure to plan some time for this every day. Try to schedule a small block where you won't be interrupted. So here we'll be suggesting some ways by which you can take care of yourselves.
All right. Can we please go to the next slide? Awesome. So after that guided meditation and realizing how it's important to also give us credit for ourselves of just being us, right now let's go to a few more techniques of how to take care of ourselves. So my opening question for this slide is, how many times have you opened, or does this happen with you, like you open your Snapchat or any of your social media, Instagram and everything, and you end up feeling bad because your contemporaries, your friends, or everybody's partying out there or are on vacation, but you're still at your room, like just the four walls and etc. So did you feel bad anytime that you like that? Yes, FOMO hits hard, that's true. Yes. I see few yeses, and most of the times that's true, Saurabh. Alright, so this happens with me also. Like I open my Instagram and I see people like in vacation in like very exotic places, and I'm in my room sitting and reading my favorite book, and I often compare myself and then feel bad about it. Kartika has written, I never compare myself with anyone because everyone's capacity and perspective is different. We should never compare ourselves. It makes us feel bad. Absolutely amazing. It's a very ideal quality to have. And the next thing I'm going to say is something related to what Kartika has just said. Very famous quote which comes to my mind after reading that message is comparison is the killer of joy. During these tough times or even during normal times, avoid comparing yourself to someone else as it will just make your situation worse. Comparing yourself with others or even a past version of yourself can lead to unwanted anxiety. Even in the Spider-Man, meme, no matter how similar the three figures look, they still are very different. And come on, if the Spider-Man can't be different, can be different, we can definitely be different from our past selves and also from the others. Stop focusing on who's doing better than who or how you used to do, so much better or how you used to be so much productive. Give yourself a little credit for being stronger every day and just facing life. It's an achievement in itself. While it's hard not to compare, you can always try to limit the times you do. Small steps will definitely make a big difference. And whenever you put in conscious efforts and thoughts, whenever you're trying to compare, to have positive vibes and vibrations, to not compare yourself and to restrict yourself from being happy of where you are and what you have. Can we go to the next slide, please? Awesome. So I think this is also one of our favorite activities of the entire, presentation. Before starting this activity, I'd like you all to have your journals or a piece of paper or, the notes on your phone ready with you. Once you do, could you please put yes on the chat box so that I know that you are all ready? Okay, yes. Okay, I think you do have like few things. Okay, great, thank you. So I want you to, I want to ask you all another question. How many of you wake up and think today is going to be a great day? Or today is going to be as bad or as boring as like any other? Or, today is going to be fantastic. I'm going to nail this day. How many of you think like waking up? Like how many of you wake up with this thought? Sometimes me, but it end up getting the usual boring day. But it's great that you do think like that, Sora. Okay, so all right. I know this might or might not be too much to ask, but what you all can do is that every morning when you wake up, count your blessings. Think about the things that you're grateful for. It can be your pet, your family, a show on Netflix, some reel on Instagram, or even some leftover ice cream lying in your freezer right now. This emotion of feeling grateful or having a sense of wonder, thankfulness, and appreciation for life is referred to as gratitude. Expressing gratitude to oneself can make us feel better, even if we don't explicitly share it with someone. Try and practice this for a few days, and I'm sure it will bring a lot of difference in your mood. Trust me, this practice has gotten me through some pretty rough days and when I hit the rock bottom. So, okay, before beginning the activity, there are a couple of shares. Archana says, me, I love doing different things every day. That's great. Shubhangi says, I think nothing as such. I just wake up and set my routine. That's great. So now let's begin the activity where I'll give you some prompts like a STEM question and you can write down your response on your gratitude or whatever the digital, thing you have to write it down. And once you're done, if you're comfortable sharing the responses on the chat box as well, just do it and just let me know that you've done with that STEM question. All right, let's begin it. The first prompt is, name any one talent or quality you have that you're grateful for. I repeat the question. Name any one talent or quality you have that you're grateful for. This can be anything from like your biggest music talents or anything, or just moving your ears, because I perfectly think, moving your ears is a freaking amazing talent that I don't have. So any talent that you're proud of and you're grateful for having. Okay, once done, please let me know on the chat box. And if you're comfortable sharing your response, please do share your response as well. Kathy says done. Thank you for letting me know. My thinking skills. That's awesome, Shubhangi. I learn things very quickly. That's a great talent, Archana. Are the rest of you done as well? Can I move ahead for the next prompt? Great. All right. So the next prompt is what things made you laugh out loud this week? Some TV show, some meme, or some inside joke between you and your best friend, or some family moment, or something that your pet has done. Anything. What is the thing or person that made you laugh out like absolutely crazy this week? Brooklyn Nine-Nine, my sister. That's nice. My old friend. I think I resonate with Kathy a lot this time. I laughed a lot for Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well this week. Are we done with this prompt? Can we go to the next one? My college friends. Nice. Alright, I'm going to the next prompt. List something good that has recently caught your attention to make you realize how fortunate you are. I repeat the prompt. List something good that has recently caught your attention to make you realize how fortunate you are. I think I'll share my response. It was pouring down. So I stay in Hyderabad, and it was pouring down, past week. And I was traveling in that train from one place to another, and I realized how fortunate I am to be traveling in a car in that much heavy rain and not being affected by it. So yes, that is my response. If somebody is comfortable sharing, they can go ahead, or else let me know when you're done. The choice and the ability to shape how I want to spend my day. Absolutely amazing, Nancy. I have some really great people in my life. That's amazing, Shubhangi. Support and the safe space is all that's really important. Having enough resources and a home during lockdown. Absolutely. That is something all of us have to be grateful for during this pandemic. Thank you so much for responding to all these prompts. Archana says my energy level remains the same even when I'm sad. That's an amazing talent and skill is also what I'd say, Archana, because that is something that, not a lot of us can do. Even when I'm sad, my energy level goes from like +1,000 to a -1,000,000. So I think that's an amazing skill, amazing talent to have, and that's something else for me. Okay, are we done with this prompt? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for responding to all the prompts. There are a lot of, gratitude journaling prompts you can find online, or actually you can think of yourself also every night before going to sleep or every morning before you wake up. Open your journals, write down what you're grateful for and what has that day taught you, because every day is a learning, and I'm sure every day somebody teaches us something or the other. So, you might not come across the advantages just like you start journaling today and tomorrow you see the advantages, but give it some time and you'll definitely benefit from the journaling. And consistency and discipline is key in everything, and so is it in journaling. So write about the act of kindness that you've witnessed today. What have you done today? What are you grateful for? And all these things will definitely help you, to count your blessings and to know how fortunate you are and how kind this universe has been to you as well. I'm handing it over to Mansi to share a few more details about how to deal with stress and anxiety.
Thank you, Tanvi. And I would just like to ask you, how many of you here feel better after cleaning your room or after organizing something? Let me know, because I think I sure do.
Sorry, could you please just repeat what you said?
Yes, I said how many of us feel better after organizing something or cleaning our rooms or surroundings? Okay, so there are so many of us who feel that way. I think, I think some random inspiration also comes at 2 a.m. in the night sometimes, where I've seen a lot of my friends just organizing things and just getting that inspiration to organize. So basically, our surroundings really impact how we feel, you know. So it just does not have to do with cleanliness, but it actually impacts how we're feeling as well. So cleaning your surroundings, maintaining your area can actually impact your mood. And this can also give you that opportunity to have the workout that you had been putting off. So it is really important because the environment you stay in definitely impacts how you feel, how energetic you feel, and how motivated you feel to work. So moving to the next slide. Next slide, please. So here, I mean, this is one person who absolutely loves cleaning, and you can see that, Monica. So one more thing that cleaning your surroundings can help you with is just kind of taking your mind off whatever is stressing you. Every time we do not have the energy to address our emotions, try to understand why we're feeling what we're feeling, and sometimes just taking care of our surroundings helps us take care of ourselves. So that's one tip from our side. And next we'd move on to another segment. Next slide, please. So I think this is something many of us might practice. Let me know if you practice any form of art, if it's doodling, painting, oil painting, anything at all. Let me know if you like to do that. So when we're expressing ourselves via art, it's not just about the end result. It's not just about how beautiful the painting looks. It can be about how we are feeling. We can express our emotions via art even while writing, whatever feels most natural to us. So, we would like to suggest some ways that can help you and that you can take up to just focus more on the process and more on expressing yourself than on the actual result. So, research studies actually suggest that art can be crucial in treating mild to extreme anxiety. And while we lead very hectic lives or even busy lives, we can choose to, create some time to express and relax, using art. And there are so many benefits for the same as well. So that is why there we would have a very small activity to sort of express our feelings using art. And don't worry, you don't need any paints, colors, or anything for it. Just a pen and paper would do. So I want each of you to think about the problems which have been concerning you for the past few days. Yes, Pranavi, definitely. I'm glad so many people shared the different modes that they paint in. I think adult coloring books are very, make you feel very relaxed, especially. Even digital art, I think the choices are like limitless. So let me know, please, when you're ready with the pen and paper, and please write yes in the chat. All right, Pranavi gave a thumbs up. Great. So everyone else is ready too. So can we move to the next slide, please? Yes. So what we would like you to do is draw two circles. They don't have to be perfect. You can just draw whatever feels easy, two circles, and then we would write the things that are in our control inside the smaller circle and the things that are not in our control outside the small circle. So, for example, whatever problem I'm facing, so we are all very troubled by the pandemic, right? But is it in our control to just, finish it, get it over with? It's definitely not. So that comes in the outer circle. But what is in our control? How we react to it, how we spend our energy and time, how we take care of ourselves and our loved ones. So all those things are in our control. So the problems that you had identified, you can note them down, that the solutions that you've been thinking of related to them, are they in your control or are they not? So just take out some time to reflect on this, and please let me know when you're done. So we call this activity the uncertainty circle because it really helps us cope with the uncertainty out there. So, a lot of times we feel anxious because we're trying to control something that is not in our control at all. So just trying to build that awareness of whether something can be controlled by me and cannot. It really helps us give that perspective of whether we should spend our energy on it or not, you know. So I hope I'm making sense. If anybody has any doubts, related to the activity or anything to share as well, please feel free to share it. And another example for this can be, so if someone's misbehavior bothers us, we cannot change their behavior, but we can change our reaction to it. Maybe we can communicate it to them, or if it's not working out, we can even build healthy boundaries for ourselves. So all those things are in our control, but worrying about someone else, what they'll say, what they'll do, is not. So it's difficult to build that understanding, but this activity can actually help us sort of identify that. And we really hope that you practice this activity when you feel bothered by something, because that will provide you the perspective to deal with it. And please let me know if everybody else is done as well. Great, that's amazing. And just a reminder, all the things that we're sharing, we just don't want you to take that up right now in the webinar or the workshop that we're having. We really want that to be a part of your everyday, well-being or how you take care of yourself. That's great. So thank you. And moving to the next slide, please. So we have a lot more other visualization tools. So this is one of them, mandalas. As Pranavi had also mentioned, adult art books can help you, color mandalas, and you can even draw them yourself. So there are also other visualization activities. So maybe you can look them up, after this webinar. And we also have a small surprise for you related to these at the end of the workshop. Yeah, now Pranavi will take it forward.
All right. How many of you have actually, started cooking or baking during the lockdown? I'm sure most of us have tried the dalgona coffee, right? Or how many of you, tried cycling or getting regular, getting your routine straight or started gardening? Like, how many of you started a new hobby this lockdown after the pandemic started? Me? My sister has become a baker. That's awesome. Okay, I see a couple of you. I started learning guitars. That's awesome. Skating also. That's awesome, Archana. Both things. All right. I think most of us have, started doing new things. Like taking up a new hobby can be very helpful as it takes your mind off, all your stressors. It makes you look forward to something that you're genuinely excited about and interested in. Even if it is for 10 minutes a day. For example, let's take up gratitude journaling, which barely takes 10 minutes. It still gives you a sense of accomplishment and makes you feel better. Such hobbies will always help you in, breaking the cycle of monotonous routine that you're always having. Somebody shared something in the chat box. Watching web series and I learned to drive a car. That's awesome, Shubhangi. Sharing my own personal experience, I coped up the entire pandemic on how to bake, and I started learning, ukulele, and I started learning yoga and meditation, which kept me in shape and also my mind, mostly my mental health, also in shape. All of this has kept me going, and I'm sure it will help a lot of us in a lot of ways as well, taking a new hobby. Can we go to the next slide, please? All right. So today we have discussed a lot of ideas and perspectives. Just before we hand it over to Kathy again, we have a little something for you. Huesofthemind has recently published a book of our own. And if you go to the next slide, the pictures of which are on the screen. We have crafted this, book with a lot of back-end research, articles, self-help resources, journeys in prose and poetry, and so much more. You can check the details on our Instagram page. And also Mansi has shared the book on the chat, the link to how to get the book also in the chat box. The best part about all of this is the revenue generated from this book will actually raise funds to help people across to access therapy easily and at a more affordable price. We hope that you love it as much as we loved creating it. And please check out the link on the chat box. Yes. And also, there's a feedback link. There's nothing more that we'd love to know how you all felt during the session. And if there's any scope of improvement, or if anything that you would like to tell us, please fill up the feedback form. And also, in these turbulent times, if you ever need resources or listening ears or professional help, do not hesitate to contact us. We'll try to assist you to the best of our capabilities. You can contact us through the Instagram page that Mansi has just shared on the link box in the chat box. Our page name is Huesofthemind as well. So I hope these are like few resources that we share, and we'd love to see some of you, buying our book, and also sharing your feedback on how our book is as well. Before I hand it over, I would like to just end it by a very soft note by saying that be a safe space. A safe space is a very non-judgmental place for people to share. Be a safe space for yourself. Listen to yourself non-judgmentally. Don't be so hard on yourself because you're freaking amazing. Be a safe space for others, your friends, your family, your support system, and more, who feel comfortable in reaching out to you. Be a listening ear for them. Help them receive professional help if needed. Because being a safe space might be just a start, but it will make a lot of difference for yourself and for the people you're being safe space. On this note, thank you very much for joining in today. Mansi and I had like a wonderful time telling, what helped us and how we got through pandemic and to share all the resources we have. And it was lovely being here. Handing it over to Khyati.
Thank you so much, guys. This is awesome. And I think Abhishek would like to just end it with a vote of thanks. So he has something ready for you. Abhishek?
Yes, so on behalf of our very own ESSC Club of NIFT Mumbai, I would like to express my gratitude to all esteemed delegates of the webinar for their presence and contribution to make this webinar a great success. I extend my gratitude to Ms. Mansi Gupta, founder of Huesofthemind, Ms. Pranavi Pendlaya, Director of Operations at Huesofthemind, and their entire team to take out time from their busy schedule to grace this event. Thank you for inspiring and encouraging us with your words on this platform. So a special thanks to Kislaya ma'am, our club advisor, Sandeep sir and Shanklina ma'am from the SDAC for providing immense support to make this webinar successful. I also like to thank our club's very own president, Ms. Khyati Rishi, for working hard for the past few days to make this webinar a successful one. I'm thankful to all the participants for their active participation and for making it a great success. With this, I end my vote of thanks and sign off. Abhishek Patil, Secretary of the ESSC Club. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. It was amazing that you made out time for this. And I love that we celebrated this day with you. Thank you so much.